Hey, Soul Stories fam! We're about to begin a brand new love journey. Comment where you're watching from so we can see that our Soul Stories family is all around the world. Maya Parker took a deep breath in front of the polished wooden doors of the upscale restaurant. Inside, warm golden light spilled out, the clinking of silverware echoing like some luxurious symphony she never truly belonged to. It's just a blind date, Maya, she reminded herself. One dinner, one conversation, then home. Easy as pie. If only it weren't for the 6-year-old clinging to her hand with all his strength and those sparkling eyes. Do I have to wear this shirt, Mom? Ben asked, his voice half curious, half whiny. Of course you do. This isn't the place for superhero t-shirts, kiddo, Maya replied, her hands swiftly smoothing down the collar of his blue shirt. Her heart pounded, not from fear of the date itself, but from the dread of this moment turning into a joke. She hadn't planned on bringing Ben along, but the babysitter had canceled at the last minute, and Maya had been ready to call the whole thing off. Then her best friend's voice had pushed through the phone. Go, Maya. You have to give yourself a chance. Decent men still exist. Maya had laughed bitterly. Decent men? She once believed in that. Until Ben was born, and the man she trusted most walked away without a word. A sharp worry pierced her. Would anyone accept a woman who showed up to a first date with a child in tow? She lifted her purse, gripping her son's small hand tighter. Come on, Ben. If this goes really badly, we'll order pizza and watch cartoons. Ben grinned widely, skipping along beside his mom, blissfully unaware that inside Maya's chest was a storm of nerves. The restaurant buzzed with customers, the rich aromas of wine and sizzling steak filling the air. Maya scanned the room for the man she'd been introduced to through a photo. Her stomach sank when her eyes landed on a tall figure in the corner. He sat upright, his posture firm, with dark hair neatly cut, wearing a gray suit that hugged his broad shoulders. There was something in the air around him, distant, as if he carried an invisible wall no one could touch. Logan Whitmore, CEO, the man her best friend had insisted was single, wealthy, and in need of someone normal to pull him back into real life. Dear God, Maya thought, he looks like he just stepped out of a finance magazine, and I'm here with a kid who loves cotton candy. She swallowed hard and walked over. Sorry for being late, Maya said softly, then leaned closer to whisper, and sorry for bringing my son. It was unexpected. I couldn't find anyone to watch him. Logan looked up. His gray-blue eyes lingered on Maya's face before shifting to the little boy clutching his mother's dress. A moment of silence stretched, making Maya feel like the whole restaurant had stopped breathing. Then the corner of his mouth curved, not a smirk, not a polite grin, just a real smile, warm in a way that caught her off guard. It's all right, Logan said, his voice deep. I like kids. Maya's heart skipped a beat. Ben tilted his head up, eyes sparkling. Do you really like them? Or are you just pretending so my mom feels better? Maya wished she could disappear instantly, but Logan chuckled, an unguarded laugh that softened the room's stiff atmosphere. No, I really do, he replied, then tilted his head slightly toward Maya. But I'm not sure I can handle all his tricky questions. For the first time in months, Maya felt lighter, and maybe, just maybe, as if a door had quietly opened. The sounds of the restaurant faded into the background as Maya watched the stream of golden orange juice spreading across the white shirt, moving slowly like a disaster in slow motion. Ben froze for a second, then exhaled in a rush. Oh, I'm sorry. Maya shot up. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. So sorry. She grabbed a napkin and frantically dabbed at the front of Logan's shirt, only then realizing her hand was pressed against his chest. Heat rushed to her face. I'll pay for the dry cleaning. If it's ruined, I'll buy you a new shirt. Eyes around the room turned toward them, whispers rising like wind across velvet curtains. Maya could hear her own heartbeat clearly, not just because of the expensive shirt, but because of an old familiar feeling, being judged, being shoved into the box labeled trouble. Logan looked down at the spreading stain, tilted his head slightly as though assessing the scene of an accident in which he was the unwilling victim. Then the corner of his mouth curved, a spark of humor lighting his eyes. At least, he drawled, he didn't throw the whole glass at me. Ben blinked, then burst into a laugh. If I threw the whole glass, you'd need a helmet. A table to their left chuckled softly. Logan laughed too, deep and warm. The sound was like a switch, silencing the murmurs around them. Maya's cheeks still burned, but the suffocating weight eased. She exhaled and bowed her head slightly. Thank you for not being angry. A waiter hurried over with club soda and fresh white napkins. Sir, orange juice usually comes out easily. Let me help. Logan nodded, shrugging off his jacket, unbuttoning his cuff and rolling up his sleeve. As he did, the muscles in his forearm flexed, controlled, steady, unhurried. He blotted the fabric calmly, not rushing at all. I'm sorry, sir, Ben said, standing at attention, hands behind his back like a soldier admitting fault. Logan glanced down, his voice gentler. Hey, I've got a rule at home. The orange juice rule. Keep it one hand's length away from the table's edge. He pushed the fresh glass back a little, then looked up at Maya. This rule's been in practice for years. Maya smiled faintly, surprising even herself. Thanks for the rule. I'll be using it tonight. And hey, Logan added, lowering his voice like sharing a secret, accidents happen to everyone. My niece once dumped a whole bowl of pumpkin soup over my head at Thanksgiving. Really? Ben's eyes widened in awe. How did you survive? By pretending it was a natural face mask, Logan shrugged, making Ben dissolve into giggles. Maya watched them, a strange feeling blooming inside her, warm and soft, like a blanket in a cold room. She murmured, Shall we sit and finish dinner? Logan nodded. Of course. I'm hungrier now after this historic event. Dinner went on. The waiter discreetly swapped the stained tablecloth like a magician. The appetizer arrived, a melon salad with prosciutto and burrata cheese. Ben eyed it as if it were an alien artifact. Am I even allowed to eat this? You can have the melon, Maya coaxed. I'll take care of the rest. Logan tilted his head. Ever tried the one-bite rule? One bite of everything. If you don't like it, you stop. You sure have a lot of rules, Ben said with a grown-up air. Is it because you're a CEO, so you make rules every day? Logan nearly choked on his sip of wine, his eyes sparkling. Not every day. Sometimes it's just a way to make things less chaotic. Maya caught that line like a streak of light. Less chaotic. The very thing she had longed for ever since Ben was born. She found herself silently grateful for the orange juice, the clumsy moment that opened a little window for the three of them to stop being strangers. By the time the main course arrived, the stain on Logan's shirt had faded. He glanced down and shrugged. Looks like I just wandered through an orange grove. The whole table laughed again. At the end of the meal, the restaurant sent out a complimentary scoop of vanilla ice cream as an apology for the young guest. Ben raised his spoon like a trophy and declared solemnly, I forgive the restaurant. Then he leaned toward Maya and whispered loud enough for Logan to hear. This guy's okay, Mom. He didn't get mad. I think he deserves more ice cream. Logan chuckled, his eyes glimmering with something rare and hard to name. Perhaps the feeling of belonging. The atmosphere at the table shifted. It was less distant and more filled with laughter. By the time the second dessert, tiramisu, was served, Ben had slipped into the role of a talk show host. Hey, are you rich? He asked bluntly, eyes glowing. Mom says CEOs are stingy. Maya choked on her water. Ben! I'm just quoting Mom, Ben defended innocently. She said the other day, CEOs, count every penny. Logan tilted his head, handing Maya a napkin, the corner of his mouth curving. Let me explain, he said to Ben, though his eyes deliberately lingered on Maya. CEOs aren't stingy. They're just careful, especially with orange juice. Ben nodded as if he'd just grasped some profound philosophy. So you're careful with fruit. Exactly. Maya covered half her face, caught between mortification and laughter. Don't believe him. I was just joking with a friend. I know, Logan said lightly, and I like people with a sense of humor. His gaze brushed across Maya's face, straightforward, unflinching. She ducked down toward her glass, but felt a small spark flare in her chest. But Ben wasn't done. Do you have a girlfriend? Because if you do, you won't have time to play Lego with me. Ben, Maya hissed, pleading. Logan waved a hand gently, signaling, it's fine. He leaned slightly forward, meeting the boy's eyes. No, I don't. He paused for a beat, his mouth faltering before pulling up quickly again. But I do have a schedule scarier than a girlfriend. Scarier than mom when I don't clean up my toys? Probably about the same level. Ben nodded with deep man-to-man sympathy. Do you ever cry? Grown-ups usually don't. But I think crying is good for your eyes. Logan laughed, a raw, unguarded laugh that slipped out before he could stop it. He tapped his finger lightly against the table, staring off for a moment before returning his gaze. Yes, the last time was when I messed up something important. Maya looked up. That wasn't a joke. She realized that sometimes, beneath the straight lines of a CEO, there were fragile folds few outsiders ever saw. Ben thought it over, then declared, crying is good. I'll give you a bonus point. Thank you, Judge. The waiter came by to refill their glasses. Ben sat up straight, then leaned toward him and whispered, he's a CEO, but he's laughed a lot tonight. That's probably because of me. Maya wanted to crawl under the table, while Logan chuckled, shaking his head. You really are a professional smile provoker. The boy puffed out his chest. So do I get paid? Ben, Maya gasped. Yes, Logan replied smoothly, pulling a small notebook from his jacket pocket. He tore out a page and quickly sketched a trophy with an orange on top, signing it EW. He handed it to Ben with solemn ceremony. Your payment, a one-of-a-kind honorary trophy. Ben's eyes went wide as he clutched the drawing like it was a medal of honor. I'll stick it by my bed. One-of-a-kind means there's only one, right? Right, and it's yours. Maya watched the scene, her nose stinging faintly. She remembered birthdays when it had only been her and Ben, a tiny cake, and a single candle. Turns out happiness didn't need to be loud. Sometimes it was a hand-drawn sketch, a laugh at the right moment. Oh, and one more thing, Ben said, holding his tiramisu spoon like a microphone. Were you ever poor? The question dropped like a pebble, rippling across the table. Maya jumped in quickly. Ben, you... Logan raised a hand to reassure her. He met the boy's gaze. Yes. When I was your age, I had lunch at the little diner where my mom worked. It wasn't fancy like this place, but they served the best meat pies in the world. I used to think someday I'd bring my mom to places like this. Not for the wine, but for the feeling of being cared for. Maya stayed silent. For the first time, she saw that behind the expensive suit was once a boy standing in a diner kitchen, breathing in the scent of meat pies, making a promise no one else had heard. She smiled softly, simply, sincerely. Your mom must be so proud. She's proud I can wash dishes, Logan joked, squinting playfully before nodding. But yeah, maybe a little proud too. Ben rested his chin on his hands. So you're not stingy. You're just saving up to take your mom out to eat. Exactly. Logan nodded, eyes crinkling with laughter. And to buy backup shirts in case of fruit-related disasters? Laughter broke out again. Longer this time, fuller. Logan felt something strange, the muscles around his eyes stretching with genuine mirth, a movement so rare he had almost forgotten what it felt like. He suddenly realized, how long had it been since he laughed like this? After dessert, Ben excused himself to wash his hands. Once he was gone, Maya murmured, Thank you for being sweet with my son. Logan looked at her, the light catching her eyes in a soft gleam. I'm not being sweet. I just think your son is wonderful. He hesitated for a beat, carefully choosing his words. And so are you. Maya's breath caught. She wanted to look away, but didn't. Are you joking? No, he smiled faintly. I rarely joke about things that matter. Ben returned, proudly holding up his clean hands. Done. I'm ready for the next meeting. Meeting? Logan raised an eyebrow. Yeah, since you're a CEO, dinner must be a meeting. All right, Logan said, rising and signaling to the waiter. Then the chair declares, this meeting ends with ice cream. Another scoop of vanilla for our official smile provoker. Ben high-fived him without hesitation. All three laughed, and somewhere in that laughter, Maya felt her heart lower its defenses just a little. They stepped out of the restaurant into the cool night air. The street glowed with golden lights, the wet pavement reflecting signs like strips of silk. Maya tugged Ben's jacket straight and adjusted his knit hat. Tonight the city felt gentler. "Thank you for dinner," she said, her voice calm. "And for all the moments you were patient." Logan slipped his hands into his pockets, watching them for a few seconds. "I should be the one thanking you and Ben." Maya gave a small smile, but her eyes lowered. In truth, she had been expecting the opposite. A polite goodbye, a half-hearted promise to see you again, and then silence forever. She tightened her grip on her purse strap. "I know this date wasn't exactly normal. I'd understand if you don't want to see you again?" Logan finished for her, his tone steady. He tilted his head. "Why jump to that conclusion so fast?" "Because," Maya searched for words, "because she was a single mom, because she'd once stood in front of a door slammed in her face, because of the orange juice incident, because of the scratches to her pride, she still pretended it didn't hurt, because I don't want to interfere in anyone's life." Logan was quiet for a moment. He glanced at Ben, busy counting buses that drove by, then back at Maya. "You're not interfering," he said slowly, clearly. "Honestly, it's been a long time since I had a night that felt like real life." She looked up. "Like real life?" "Yeah, no clients, no charts, no rehearsed small talk." He smiled and tiny lines formed at the corners of his eyes. "Just a glass of orange juice, a curious little boy, and a woman who's smart and brave." Maya laughed softly. "Brave because I brought my kid to a blind date? Brave because you still believe you can start over," Logan replied quietly. The wind carried the scent of cinnamon from a bakery on the corner. Ben inhaled loudly. "Mom, I smell waffles." Logan glanced at his watch, then at the two of them, as if making a decision. He spoke in a tone that was both tentative and natural, like it was the most obvious thing in the world. "Next week, are you and Ben free? The three of us could have dinner." Maya froze as if someone had hit pause. "The three of us?" "Yeah," Logan nodded. "Not a fancy place. Somewhere noisy where spilling orange juice wouldn't make anyone stare. And," he crouched to Ben's level, "where there's pizza." Ben jumped. "Yes!" "Pizza, really?" Logan played along perfectly. "Yes. And ice cream too. But only if you finish your pizza first." "Deal!" Maya looked at the two of them, a smile slipping out before she could stop it. "Are you sure?" "You're busy. You have a schedule scarier than a girlfriend." "I'm sure." Logan's reply came instantly, without drama, without hesitation. "Thursday, 7 o'clock. I can pick you up, or we can meet at the restaurant if that makes you more comfortable." The respect in his tone warmed her. "Let's meet there," she chose, keeping some boundary, but her voice was softer now. "Ben likes going on adventures with me." "Done." Logan pulled out his phone. "I'll text you the address." They exchanged numbers. When Logan Whitmore lit up on her screen, Maya felt a twinge in her stomach, almost like the nervous excitement of a 20-year-old girl, a feeling she thought she'd long buried in the past. Logan bent down, offering his hand to Ben. "See you, pizza partner?" Ben smacked his palm with a solid slap. "Don't forget my trophy. I want to show it to my classmates. I'll bring markers to sign an upgraded version." Maya laughed out loud. "Careful, he'll make you autograph his lunchbox too." "I'm ready for that." Logan's voice wasn't a polite joke. It was more like an unguarded admission that he was ready to make room in his schedule for them. A sleek car pulled up for Logan. He opened the door but didn't insist. "Do you need a ride?" Maya shook her head. "We'll walk to the bus stop. It's close." Logan nodded. "Then let me walk with you a bit." He matched Ben's pace, who had decided to hop across sidewalk tiles as if playing an obstacle course. 3 people, 3 strides, 3 breaths. But in that moment, they felt like an isosceles triangle, balanced in sync. At the corner, they stopped. Logan extended his hand to Maya. She took it. The handshake wasn't long, wasn't firm, but it was warm. When she let go, a strange sense of comfort lingered in her palm. "Text me when you get home," Logan said, "so I know you're both safe." "All right." Maya's voice was low. She didn't want to admit that a small gesture of care like that could make her eyes sting. Ben tugged at her hand. "Mom, hurry! The bus is here!" "Let's go," Maya smiled, then turned to Logan. "Thursday." "Thursday." He nodded, his eyes holding hers for a beat. "Pizza." "Pizza?" she echoed, surprised that such a simple word could make her heart feel so light. They parted ways at the intersection. As the bus screeched to a stop, Maya lifted Ben onto the step, still carrying the afterglow of an evening none of them had planned. She sank into a seat, Ben leaning on her shoulder, clutching his hand-drawn trophy. Her phone buzzed. "Logan." "Text me when you're home." Maya tapped the screen and replied, "We're home. Thank you for an evening." That felt like real life. The typing dots appeared, disappeared, then returned. Finally, his message came through. "I'm really looking forward to Thursday." Maya leaned her head against the window. The city lights blurred past like an old film reel. Somewhere among the countless yellow lights, a tiny spark grew clearer. Hope, the kind she thought she had shoved onto a dusty shelf long ago. Ben snored softly, hugging his trophy tighter. She pressed a kiss to his hair and whispered, "Pizza, my boy. And maybe something more." Thursday morning, Maple Park was alive with bird song and the smell of freshly cut grass. Maya sat on a bench, carefully pouring water into a thermos. She glanced around, her heart caught somewhere between excitement and nerves. Would he really come, she wondered. A CEO like Logan surely had a dozen things more important to do than sit in the park with her and her son. "Do you think he'll come, Mom?" Ben crouched beside her, busy tying his shoelaces. His eyes sparkled as if he were waiting for a superhero to appear. Maya smiled, brushing a hand over his hair. "I think so. But remember, if he really is busy, that's okay too." Ben scrunched his nose, caught between wanting to believe and bracing for disappointment. And then, as if some invisible director had cued it, a familiar figure appeared at the park entrance. Logan Whitmore. But not the CEO in a tailored suit. Today he wore dark jeans, a simple gray t-shirt, and carried a paper coffee cup. Sunlight filtered through the trees, catching on his neatly cut black hair. Even dressed casually, there was something about him, his upright posture, his steady stride, that made passers-by turn to look. Wherever he was, the center seemed to shift toward him. "Uncle Logan!" Ben shouted, waving like a beacon. Logan immediately changed direction and headed toward them. When he reached them, he crouched to high-five the boy, then looked up with a smile for Maya. "Sorry, I'm late. Traffic." "I'm just glad you came," Maya replied, smiling softly. But inside, she realized something. This version of Logan, stripped of his boardroom armor, felt warmer, more human than the CEO she'd only seen in magazines. Ben didn't give them much chance to talk. "Come play with me. There are swings, slides, and a seesaw." Logan raised an eyebrow, glancing down at his leather boots, then back at Maya. "I'm not sure this is my area of expertise." Maya laughed, teasing, "What, a CEO scared of a swing set?" Before the words even faded, Ben had grabbed Logan's hand and pulled. "You have to try. That's the rule if you want to be my friend." Dragged across the park, Logan looked both helpless and strangely relaxed. He lowered himself onto the swing, gripping the chains, his long legs awkwardly bent. Ben ran behind, using all his little strength to push. "Come on, higher! Kick your legs!" Logan tried, but the motion was clumsy, the swing barely moving. "See? I told you, I have no talent for this." "No, you have to believe in me," Ben cheered. Maya sat on the bench, covering her mouth as laughter slipped out. The image of a man usually seen on finance magazine covers, now wobbling on a squeaky swing in the middle of a park, was almost too adorable to be real. Then it happened. Logan tried for a bigger push, but his foot caught the ground. His tall frame tipped backward, and with a heavy thud, he landed flat on the grass. For a moment, silence. Then the park erupted. Children laughed, parents chuckled, and even a few joggers slowed to grin. Maya shot to her feet. "Are you okay?" Propping himself up on one arm, grass clinging to his shirt, Logan winced slightly, then let out a booming, warm laugh. I think my dignity just got knocked off its CEO throne. Ben doubled over with laughter. That was epic, like a superhero crash landing. Maya hovered, torn between worry and amusement. She held out her hand to help him up. His palm closed around hers, solid, real. For a second, he wasn't a powerful CEO, just a man who had landed on his backside in the park. I'm fine, Logan said, brushing grass from his shirt. Just a little bruised pride. This time Maya laughed freely, the sound mingling with the chorus of children playing. It felt light, unguarded, pure. Later, the three of them rested on a bench. Ben licked a popsicle Maya had bought, chattering about school and friends. Logan listened intently, nodding now and then, asking thoughtful questions that made Ben beam. Do you want to be a CEO someday? Logan asked. Ben thought for a while. No, I want to be a superhero. CEOs sit too much. Falling hurts. Maya burst out laughing. Logan joined in, undeterred by any offense. I'll remember that. His eyes met Maya's. For a beat, they stayed quiet. Maya realized she hadn't seen him smile this much before, and in that smile was something that stirred her, an unseen side of him the press never captured. The sky deepened into shades of orange as dusk approached. The air carried the sweet scent of jasmine from a nearby hedge. Logan watched Ben chase pigeons across the grass, then murmured, I never thought something this ordinary could feel this good. Just sitting in a park, eating ice cream, hearing a kid laugh. But it's better than I expected. Maya smiled softly. Sometimes happiness is just that simple. Logan didn't reply, but the warmth in his eyes said it all, as if, for the first time, he believed it was true. The little pizza shop sat on a corner shaded by maple trees. The glass windows glowed in the late afternoon light, and inside the air was thick with the scent of baked cheese. The moment Maya stepped in, Ben's eyes lit up, and he ran straight to a table by the window. I want a giant cheese pizza, he shouted, practically climbing onto the chair. Logan followed behind, wearing dark jeans and a plain t-shirt. He looked nothing like the CEO from finance magazines, yet his calm presence still made the waiter pause for a second glance. He set the menu down, looking at Ben with mock seriousness. I think we should just order a medium. Otherwise, there'll be a whole mountain of cheese only a superhero could finish. Order it! I'll prove it, Ben declared, pounding his chest. Maya laughed, shaking her head. A large one, please. If there's too much, we'll take it home. Ben can call it his reward. The waiter scribbled quickly and walked away. As they waited, the warm lights cast a soft glow over the table. Maya realized she hadn't sat in a place like this with anyone besides Ben in a very long time. The feeling of having a man across from her, not with judgment or pity in his eyes, but with a real presence. It softened something inside her. Do you rarely take Ben out to eat? Logan asked, his tone casual. Yes. Maya brushed a strand of hair back. I usually cook at home. It's cheaper and safer. Safer? She nodded, her voice slowing. I'm afraid Ben might get too attached to someone, and one day that person disappears. Kids trust easily, but they also hurt easily. I don't want my son to have any more empty spaces in his life. Logan was silent for a few seconds, his gray-blue eyes watching Ben scribble with crayons at the next table. I understand. You've been there? Maya asked, hesitating. Yes, he answered himself. I trusted the wrong person. She didn't love me, just the Whitmore name and everything attached to it. When the truth came out, I lost faith in the system. After that, work became my shield. No one could get through. His voice was calm, but a shadow flickered in his eyes. Maya sat still, her chest tightening, not out of pity, but from recognizing scars that matched her own. I used to think love was just another way to get hurt, she whispered. Logan tilted his head, meeting her gaze. Maybe, but sometimes it's also the only way to heal. Their eyes met, and Maya quickly looked down at her glass of water. Yet in that fleeting moment, it was as if a quiet melody began to play, gentle, aching, undeniable. The pizza arrived, piping hot, strings of golden cheese stretching with every slice. Ben cheered, nearly clapping. Here it is! My cheese mountain. Logan cut the pizza and served 3 equal portions. Fairness rule. Everyone gets a share. No one owns the mountain. Ben munched happily, then suddenly looked up. Uncle Logan, do you ever eat pizza alone? I think it'd be really sad to eat by yourself. Maya blinked at the unexpected question, while Logan paused mid-bite. He set his slice down, answering slowly. Yes, many times. And you're right. It is sad, but today is different. Today it tastes much better. Ben nodded firmly, delivering his verdict. I knew it. My mom cooks great, but food's always better when you eat with me. Maya flushed, about to scold him playfully, but Logan burst out laughing. A real laugh, long and unguarded, brightening the space around them. After the meal, Ben carried the leftover box like a treasure, skipping ahead. Maya and Logan walked slowly behind. Thank you, she said softly. Not just for dinner, for listening to me. Logan turned, his eyes warm. I think you don't need someone to solve everything. You just need someone who truly listens. For 6 years, you've carried too much alone. He paused, lowering his voice. You don't have to anymore. Maya stopped short. The words were simple, but they fell into her heart like warm water soaking dry soil. She wasn't ready to believe, but she wanted to try. Ben turned, shouting, Mom, hurry! The pizza will get cold. Maya laughed, quickening her steps. Logan matched her pace, quietly taking the pizza box from Ben's hand so the boy could run free. That night, after Ben had fallen fast asleep, Maya sat by the window. On the table lay the leftover box with one slice inside, its smell lingering. Her phone buzzed. A message from Logan. I think this afternoon was one of the most ordinary and one of the best. Maya smiled, her heartbeat quickening. She typed back, Thank you for making this afternoon special for us. A moment later, the screen lit again. Sometimes different is the beginning of something important. Good night, Maya. She set her phone down, her heart swelling with a feeling both strange and familiar. Hope. Maya stopped by a store near Whitmore and Company headquarters and unexpectedly ran into Logan. He invited her up to his office for coffee. They sat and talked, the atmosphere relaxed and warm. When Maya was about to leave, Clara Hughes, head of communications and also Logan's ex, appeared. Clara's eyes widened when she saw Maya walking out of the CEO's office, still holding a coffee cup. Her gaze flickered sharply. Oh, I see. I was wondering why Logan suddenly changed his routine. Turns out he has a special guest. Maya hesitated. I just happened to stop by. Clara smirked, her tone laced with mockery. What a coincidence. A single mom just happens to show up at the city's top firm and happens to walk straight into the CEO's office. Makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Employees walking past slowed, glancing their way. Clara's words were loud enough for them to overhear. Maya felt the blood rush to her face. 1,000 thoughts clashed in her mind. I'm being looked down on. What will happen to Ben if people see his mother this way? She was about to leave when the office door opened behind her. Logan stepped out, his expression colder than she had ever seen. Clara. His voice was low and firm. What are you saying? Clara raised her brows, feigning innocence. I'm just making an observation. Wasn't I the one who knew you best, Logan? You never liked complications. And now... Logan cut her off, his tone like steel. Don't ever insult Maya. She isn't a complication. She and her son are the best thing that's happened to me in years. The whispers in the hallway went dead silent. Clara froze for a beat, then forced her face back into composure, but her eyes flared with jealousy. You've really changed, Logan. Fine, but you'll pay the price if you've chosen wrong. Her heels clicked sharply on the marble as she walked away. Maya stood frozen, her heart torn between hurt and the shock of Logan defending her so openly. He stepped closer, his voice softer now. Don't believe anything except what I just said. She looked at him, her eyes brimming. For the first time under 1,000 judging stares, she felt it clearly. Logan wasn't just on her side, he had declared it to the world. The late afternoon light poured over the old apartment building. In front of Unit 302, Maya adjusted the green checkered tablecloth and took a deep breath. It's fine, she told herself. This is just an ordinary dinner. But her heart pounded anything but ordinary. The doorbell rang. Ben dashed to open it. Uncle Logan! He launched himself forward, hugging their guest around the waist. Logan laughed, crouched down, and high-fived him. Tonight he wore a black t-shirt, jeans, and a bomber jacket. The simplicity made him seem unusually approachable, yet his steady stance and calm gaze still carried that unmistakable presence. Come in, Maya said, slightly flustered. It's a small place. But it feels warm, Logan replied, his eyes taking in the details. The Polaroid photo of mother and son, the string lights wrapped in fabric, the neatly arranged bookshelf, the colorful toy corner that looked like its own little universe. Nothing luxurious, just a feeling he hadn't touched in years. Being welcomed. Come see my Lego fort, Ben tugged his hand. I added a watchtower. It's super strong. I'm here to inspect the structure, Logan joked seriously, letting himself be pulled away. Maya stood in the kitchen doorway, watching their shadows stretch across the tiles. Happiness sometimes came just like that. Unexpected, quiet, fragile. Something you didn't dare disturb. She turned back to the stove. The tomato sauce simmered, crushed tomatoes, ground beef, sautéed onions, torn basil, and a pinch of sugar to balance the flavors. Next to it, a tray of garlic bread, golden and fragrant. She sprinkled black pepper over the tomato mozzarella salad and drizzled olive oil and balsamic. The water boiled. She dropped the pasta in and stirred. From the other room came Ben's excited narration. This is the East Gate. You stand here and press the alarm if dinosaurs come. But don't press too hard. You knocked the wall down last time. I already paid my tuition fee, with my backside at the park, Logan replied, making them both laugh. Dinner's ready, Maya called. The small wooden table turned into a restaurant for three, steaming pasta in the center, bright salads on the side, a basket of crisp garlic bread. Logan instinctively pulled out Maya's chair for her, a simple gesture, yet deeply gentlemanly. Ben placed his Lego fort by the edge of the table and announced, No one plays until we finish eating. It's homemade, Maya said nervously. I hope it's okay. Before she finished, Logan twirled his fork into the pasta, took a slow bite, his eyes closing briefly as if listening to the flavors melt. He set the fork down and spoke evenly, without flourish. This is the best dinner I've ever had. The words dropped like a pebble into Maya's heart, sending ripples outward. Don't say that just to be polite. I don't do polite talk at the dinner table, Logan smiled, tilting his head. It's good because of the garlic just right, the fresh pepper, and because you and Ben are here. Ben nodded like a judge confirming the verdict. My mom's the best cook in the world, but it's always better when you eat with me. Then I'd better eat 3 times as much, Logan said, playing along, piling more pasta onto his plate. The conversation flowed over small things. Ben talking about his teacher planting seeds in yogurt cups. Logan describing an analyst who once used a pizza-shaped chart in a presentation. He said more cheese meant more market share, Logan recounted. Ben laughed so hard he nearly fell off his chair. Hire me. I'm great with cheese. I'll consider you for Chief Cheese Officer, Logan offered his hand. Contract signed with another slice of garlic bread. Dinner carried on with laughter, the early tension unraveling like a knot finally loosened. Afterward, Maya brought out a quick dessert, Greek yogurt with honey and lightly toasted almonds. No fancy oven here, she admitted shyly. So this is all I've got. Perfect, Logan said, because I need to save room for dish duty. Huh? Maya blinked. I'll wash if the host allows. He was utterly serious. I'll help, Ben declared, then remembered his Lego guard post and added gravely, but I still have to guard the East Gate. Then I'll wash. You're on watch, Commander, Logan said. Maya dried dishes at his side. Soap suds clung to their hands, brushing, pulling apart again, like 2 orbits quietly shifting course. From the other room came Ben's dramatic whisper. The enemy is lurking. Set the garlic bread traps. Everything was so ordinary that it turned extraordinary. By the end, Ben lay curled with his superhero comic, his head resting on his mother's lap, while Logan told him softly, Sometimes real heroes are the ones brave enough to ask for help. The boy's eyelids drooped, his voice fading. Like my mom. Maya looked at Logan. His eyes held no trace of the boardroom, only the warm glow of a kitchen lamp. Her mind echoed with his words. This is the best dinner I've ever had. And for the first time, she believed it. Not because of the food, but because this meal had someone sitting across from her, laughter at the table, and a glimpse of a future she hadn't dared to picture. Soul Stories fam, if you're watching on another channel, come home to us at Soul Stories, where tens of thousands of listeners and sharers come together. After Ben went to his room, the apartment sank into a quiet as soft as a blanket. Maya placed the book by her son's side, pulled the covers up, and switched off the light. When she walked back to the kitchen, she found Logan with his sleeves rolled up, the warm water already running. You're really stubborn, she teased. Guests aren't supposed to wash dishes. I don't want to just eat and leave, Logan said, standing by the sink. Let me share the sink with you? The yellow light cast a gentle glow across the stainless steel counter. The small kitchen made them stand closer than usual. Maya handed him a sponge, and when he took it, his fingers brushed hers. Just a light touch, but it shot straight through her chest. She pulled her hand back instinctively, then instantly regretted how quickly she had. Careful with that glass. It's thin, easy to break, she said, covering her fluster. I know, Logan replied quietly. And some things are even thinner. They worked together like a pair long used to this dance. One scrubbed, the other rinsed. One stacked, the other dried. Warm water, the smell of soap, the faint trace of garlic butter in the air, all of it mixed into a strange kind of scent. Peace. Back then, Maya said, I hated washing dishes alone. It felt like I was counting my worries. And now? Logan asked. Now, it feels like I'm crossing them off, she smiled, one by one, putting them away. A plate slipped from her hands, but Logan caught it swiftly. His palm pressed over hers, holding it steady, warmth rushing faster than the water flowing. They both froze. For a moment, neither pulled away. Silence swelled like a soap bubble. Maya lifted her eyes and found his, close enough to see the tiny flecks of light in his pupils. There was no rush there, only a question. Is this okay? She gave the smallest nod, not an answer to a kiss. It hadn't come yet, but permission to stay close. From the living room came Ben's voice, loud as fireworks. Uncle, you made Mom blush! Both burst into laughter, the bubble of silence popping. Ben, half awake, ran to the bathroom. Maya grabbed a towel and started wiping, a plate already bone dry, laughing so hard her eyes watered. Objectively speaking, Logan murmured as he bent to rinse again, I was blushing too. Don't make things up, Maya teased. Not making it up. The kitchen light reflected both of us, he said, pointing at the microwave's glass surface. Their blurred reflections stood side by side, like an old photograph just developed. When the sink was clear, Logan turned off the faucet. The busyness drained from the kitchen, leaving behind a terrifying stillness. Maya set the towel on the counter, turning to gather the trash. Logan spoke slowly. Maya? Yes? I don't want to rush, but I don't want to leave you guessing either. She turned back. I like you, he said simply. No flourish, no metaphor. And I like being around you and your son. If there's ever a time you want me to stop, just say so. But if you'll let me, I'll... He drew a breath. Be here. Properly. The words be here properly struck Maya's heart like a steady drumbeat. She had heard promises before, always floating away like soap bubbles. But tonight, with wet, soapy hands, a gleaming sink, and Ben's steady breathing from the other room, everything felt weighted, real. You're saying things that are too easy to believe, she teased softly, echoing an old joke, but her voice was warmer now. I know, Logan smiled, eyes steady on hers. They moved into the living room. Maya brought 2 mugs of hot tea. Ben, perched on the sofa, said, I heard dishes, falling in love in the kitchen. Ben, why aren't you asleep? Maya laughed until tears came. I was joking. Ben giggled, then turned serious. But I saw Mom happy. That's good. Logan looked at Maya. In that instant, the first flutter wasn't about a sudden kiss, but the quiet acknowledgement from a child. Mom's happy when you're here, and to Logan, no praise could be greater. The tea dwindled. Ben rubbed his eyes. I'm sleepy, but I want you to finish the hero story. The hero kept patrolling after washing the dishes, Logan said gently, and he discovered the bravest thing wasn't fighting villains, but opening your home to let someone in. Ben's eyelids drooped, like Mom opened the door for you. Yes, Logan whispered. Exactly. The boy drifted off against his mother's shoulder. Logan carried him to bed, his movements firm yet feather-light. When he returned to the living room, he stood a step away from Maya. I should go, he said. It's early tomorrow. But if you need anything, call me, even if it's just changing a light bulb or opening a stubborn jar of jam. Maya laughed, her eyes glistening. Are you asking for a household chore list? Yes, he nodded, because it means I belong in the small things here. She walked him to the door. At the threshold, both slowed. Logan didn't step closer. Good night, Maya. Good night, Logan. He walked 2 steps, then turned back. Oh, you really do blush adorably. The door closed on a muffled laugh full of happiness. Maya leaned against the wood, her hand over her chest. Inside, her heartbeat no longer panicked. It beat steady and warm, like a spoon clinking softly against hot cocoa. Outside, the hall was empty. Inside, the kitchen was clean, the table cleared, and a first had happened. No fireworks, no violins, just 2 soapy hands brushing, and a boy's innocent voice yelling, Uncle, you made Mom blush. Sometimes the first flutter of 2 grown hearts is just that simple. Time passed, and Logan's presence in Maya and Ben's lives grew more natural, as if he had always been part of their little home. Each evening after work, instead of returning to his cold penthouse, he stopped by Maya's apartment on the 32nd floor, where children's laughter and the smell of warm dinners always awaited him. One evening, the ceiling light in the living room flickered. Maya sighed. Broken again. I'll have to call maintenance. Logan looked up, still in his white dress shirt, sleeves already rolled. No need. Hand me a chair. Where's the new bulb? Before Maya could protest, he was already climbing up. His tall frame stretched, the shirt pulling slightly as he twisted the bulb. Ben looked up in awe. Uncle Logan is a repair superhero. A superhero who can fix pipes, too, Logan chuckled, wiping his hands after tightening a small valve in the kitchen. And if the fridge makes noise tomorrow, call me. Leaning against the doorway, Maya watched the scene, her heart melting. These little things, so ordinary, were exactly what she had missed all these years. The presence of a man's hand that knew how to handle the small repairs of a home. On the weekend, the 3 of them strolled through the park. Ben ran ahead, clutching a dinosaur-shaped balloon, while Logan and Maya walked slowly behind. Are you really not bothered? Maya asked softly, her eyes following her son. Spending the whole weekend just chasing after a 6-year-old? On the contrary, Logan replied, his eyes smiling. I've never been happier. My work is full of numbers and charts, but Ben teaches me what simple joy looks like. And you, he paused, his gaze lingering on her face. You've taught me what home feels like. Maya went quiet, her heart fluttering like leaves trembling in the wind. One evening, Logan handed her an envelope with 2 embossed tickets. This weekend is the company's anniversary gala. Come with me. Maya's eyes widened. Me? Logan, I don't fit in there. It'll be all evening gowns, champagne, people who speak in stock options. I'll look like a duck out of place. Logan took her hand firmly. All you need to do is be yourself. Believe me, no one there will make me prouder than you. She hesitated. What about Ben? Then he comes too. I want both of you with me. The night of the gala, the hotel ballroom glittered beneath crystal chandeliers. Maya wore a simple but elegant navy blue dress, her hair tied low, her eyes shy as they met Logan's in his tuxedo. He leaned close and whispered, You're beautiful. Don't worry. Ben, in his tiny white shirt and crooked tie, walked between them like a little gentleman. People greeted Logan, their curious eyes flicking toward Maya. She caught fragments of whispers, but Logan's calm smile and the steady hand holding hers were enough to keep her grounded. When it came time for speeches, Logan was called to the stage. Maya guided Ben to the front row. But in a split second of distraction, the boy darted forward, little shoes thumping loudly as he ran up onto the stage. The entire ballroom gasped. "Ben!" Maya cried, ready to rush after him. But it was too late. Ben grabbed the microphone, grinning wide, his voice ringing out. "Hello, everyone, I'm Ben, and my mom is the most beautiful person here." Silence. Then laughter erupted, followed by a wave of applause. Maya covered her face, mortified, wishing she could disappear. Logan, standing beside him, crouched down and wrapped an arm around Ben's shoulders. He leaned into the microphone, his deep voice steady. "The little hero is right. To me, Maya is the most wonderful woman tonight." He turned to her then, his proud gaze so open it made her chest ache and glow all at once. Later, Maya sat at the banquet table, her cheeks flushed pink. The curious stares had softened, replaced by amused smiles and playful remarks. Ben sat between them, looking smug, as if he had just saved the day. Logan leaned close, his voice low by her ear. "See? You belong here more than anyone." Maya swallowed hard. Amid the music and chatter, she realized the fear of not fitting into high society had only ever lived in her own mind. Because wherever Logan and Ben were, the place automatically became home. The city night fell like a velvet curtain sprinkled with glitter. After the company event, Logan's car pulled away from the hotel, gliding past streets glowing with wet reflections. In the back seat, Ben clutched his cheese trophy, made out of cardboard from the game booth, his mouth still smudged with chocolate from the dessert bar. He chattered a few last words before falling asleep as quickly as flipping a switch. Maya sat in the passenger seat, holding her thin scarf. In the window's reflection, she caught her own eyes still shimmering, unsettled from when Ben had stolen the mic in front of the entire ballroom. "My mom is the most beautiful one here." Oddly enough, in that moment under hundreds of stares, she hadn't been afraid. Because Logan had been right there, standing beside her son, his hand resting on the boy's shoulder, his gaze on her, pure pride in his eyes. Logan steered the car toward the riverbank. It was quiet there, the air carrying the scent of cold water. In the distance, the bridge twinkled like a string of birthday lights. He turned off the engine, leaving only the silence of the night. "Are you cold?" he asked. "No, I'm fine," Maya answered, tightening her scarf slightly. They sat like that for a beat, silent. Maya could hear Ben's steady breathing, and her own heartbeat, fast but no longer frantic. Logan turned to her, his gray-blue eyes calm, but deeper than she had ever seen. "Maya," he said slowly, as if afraid to break something fragile, "I want to say this when no one else can interrupt. Unless our little teammate back there wakes up and grabs the microphone again." She chuckled softly. "Go on. I want you and Ben to become my family. No flowery words, no metaphors. Just those 4 simple words, become my family, falling into her chest like a small pebble, yet sending ripples across the entire surface of her heart." She turned to face him. "Are you sure you understand what you're saying? Family isn't a glittering gala. It's sleepless mornings, bills piling up all at once, a sick child at 2 a.m. It's the long dry seasons when it's easiest to give up." "I know," Logan replied, his eyes steady. "And I know because I've lived through my own kind of dry season. My penthouse is luxurious, but it's cold. My meetings are packed with people, but empty. I don't want a pretty PR relationship. I want to hang my coat on the same hook every night, open the same door, sit at the same table, hear the same laughter. That's all." "You're not afraid of rumors, of Clara," Maya whispered, "of people who won't believe in me, who'll look down on me. And history. I once believed. I once let someone in. And then I lost everything." The streetlight traced a fine outline along her cheek. Logan reached out his hand but stopped halfway, as if asking permission. She didn't pull back. He placed his hand over hers, the warmth spreading so quickly she had to take a deep breath. "I'm not afraid enough to walk away," Logan said. "Rumors, I can handle, I'll talk to the communications team, set boundaries, and if necessary, I'll stand up publicly like I did today, again and again, 10 times if I must. As for your past, I can't change it, but I can walk beside you in the present, so the future is different. And are you sure you can live with this present? Maya looked down at their joined hands, their fingers already interlaced, as if it were natural. People like pretty pictures. Here, there's a sink full of dishes, homework stains on the table, a bathroom light that flickers, days when I snap because I'm tired. Logan smiled. I'm signing the full package deal. The sink and the light bulb are my top priorities. From the back seat came the sound of stirring. Ben sat up, his hair sticking up like a bird's nest. With the grave seriousness of a soldier just waking for his shift, he announced, Mom, I agree. Both adults froze, then burst out laughing together. Maya smoothed her son's hair. Agree? With what exactly? Well, Uncle Logan was talking about family. I heard everything, Ben said, before yawning wide and sinking back into his pillow. But don't forget pizza. The windows fell quiet again. The river lapped gently at the shore, like someone breathing. Logan still held Maya's hand. You're afraid? I know, he said. I'm afraid too. But I choose not to run. Maya looked into his eyes. Deep inside, she saw not a flash of passion, but the steady flame of a hearth, lasting, constant, warm enough. I'm not promising anything grand, she said softly. I'm only promising to try. But Logan, if there comes a time, you say stop, and I stop. He nodded. But if there comes a time you forget that you deserve to be loved, I'll remind you. They sat for a while longer, saying nothing, like two passengers waiting for the same train. When Logan started the car again, Maya felt an odd lightness inside. The fear was still there, but it felt more like a cat that had eaten, curled up, quieter, less likely to scratch. At her apartment building, Logan carefully lifted Ben from the back seat. The boy instinctively nestled into his shoulder, still asleep. Maya opened the door. The hallway glowed warm gold. Inside their small home, the scent of last night's garlic bread still lingered. Logan laid Ben in bed, tucked the blanket, and stood for a moment as if he were admiring a finished painting. At the door, he turned back. I'll come early tomorrow. That faucet of yours makes too much noise. Maya smiled. Right, priority clause. Good night, Maya. Good night, Logan. The door closed slowly, leaving behind a sparkling river night and 4 words that echoed in her heart longer than the sound of his car engine. Become my family. The days rolled by in their usual rhythm, dinosaur-shaped pancakes in the morning, lunch boxes with egg rolls at noon, art class pickup in the afternoon, dishwashing at night. Logan appeared with the consistency of a cactus watering schedule. Punctual, steady, unshowy. He replaced a light bulb, straightened a bookshelf, fixed a leaking pipe. Every small task was another pin fastening the 3 of them together. Uncle Logan, Ben called out one Saturday morning while they were cleaning the playroom. Uncle Dad, hand me the little screwdriver. Both adults looked up at once. Maya bit her lip to hide her smile. Logan braced one hand on his knee, his face mock serious. Nope. You have to choose, either uncle or dad. Ben considered this with the air of a boardroom executive, glancing from his Lego box to Logan, then to Maya. Finally, he declared, Then I choose Dad. The word dad slipped out soft as a gummy bear, yet it landed heavy as a gemstone. The room went so quiet you could hear a Lego piece clink under the bed. Maya looked at Logan. For one brief second, she saw his eyes waver, like a man crossing a bridge who suddenly sees the river open wide beneath him. Deep, inviting, terrifying, beautiful. Logan knelt to Ben's level. He didn't deny it, didn't deflect with a joke. His voice came out hoarse and low. Are you sure? Ben nodded, simple as choosing a pizza topping. Dad fixes toys. Dad tells good stories. Dad makes Mom laugh. I think that's good enough. The last line struck Logan like a feather-made arrow, soft yet piercing. He pulled Ben into his arms, not too tightly, just enough for the boy to feel the tremor in his chest. Maya noticed Logan's eyes glisten. Maybe he realized it too because he quickly laughed to cover it. Well then, Logan cleared his throat. Supreme Cheese Director, hand Dad that little screwdriver. Yes, sir, Dad. Ben saluted like a soldier and scurried off to rummage through his plastic toolkit. When his son's back was turned, Logan glanced at Maya. She said nothing, only nodded slowly, a silent agreement. All right, if our child has called you that, and I believe you deserve it, then yes. That afternoon, the three went to the park. The wind rustled through the trees. Ben rode his new bike, the one Dad Logan had assembled and adjusted the brakes for. He laughed so loudly he startled a flock of pigeons into the sky. Careful, Maya called. I got it, Ben shouted back, just before his wheel hit a rock and he toppled over. He froze for a moment, his eyes wide, more shocked than hurt. His lips trembled. Before the cry came, Logan was already there. He didn't lift the boy right away. He knelt, arms open. Come here. Ben dove in. Logan let him bury his face in his shoulder, one hand rubbing his back, the other quickly checking the scraped knee. It's okay. Just a little scratch. Every hero has small scars, he whispered. Maya hurried over with wipes and a bandage. Logan took them, applying the bandage with the care of a heart surgeon. All done. Next mission. Ice cream. Or not, Mom said we're saving money. So, let's go home and eat oranges. Ben giggled. The fear melted like foam. Dad, he said as he climbed back onto the bike, voice round and certain, as if he'd been saying it for years. Run next to me, okay? Dad will run, Logan answered. And he did, hands steady on the back of the seat, then letting go, close enough that if the boy fell, he'd fall into his arms. That night, the kitchen glowed warm. On the table was shortcut pasta, butter, garlic, cheese, parsley. Ben ate while proudly showing off his hero scar. Logan listened, eyes smiling. When the dishes were cleared, Logan pulled a small box from his jacket pocket. What's this? Maya asked. Not a ring. Logan quickly raised both hands in mock surrender, making Maya blush and laugh. Just something I think it's time for. Inside was a Lego keychain, a tiny man in a cap holding a flag. Family captain, Logan said, but the title rotates. On days Ben's on duty, he's the captain. On days Mom's on duty, she's the captain. Dad handles logistics. Ben grabbed it, laughing loud. Logistics means washing dishes. Exactly, Logan declared, rolling up his sleeves. At the sink, Maya joined him. Thank you, she whispered. For the ugly Lego keychain, he teased. For today. For Dad. Logan set a plate down, turning to her. The golden kitchen light deepened his eyes. I don't know if I'm doing enough or doing it the right way, but I do know. I've never wanted any title more than this one. Maya drew a breath. There's one thing I want you to promise. Say it. When I'm clumsy, angry, or afraid, don't retreat. And when you're tired, frustrated, or need space, don't disappear. Speak up. So Ben won't see the kind of vanishings he once did. Logan nodded without hesitation. I promise. From the living room, Ben shouted, Dad! I stuck the family captain on the east gate. Roger that, Captain, Logan called back. Maya laughed, the sound warm all through her chest. She set her hand on Logan's wet one. Then, congratulations, logistics officer. Yes, ma'am, he whispered, interlacing their fingers. Not slippery like that first time at the sink, but steady, certain. Night fell. After Ben drifted to sleep, Maya stood at his doorway. The Lego family captain keychain swayed gently in the AC breeze. She turned back to the living room. Logan was waiting, not rushing, not pressing, just opening his arms in invitation. Maya stepped into them. His chin rested on her hair, his breath even, the faint scent of soap and the wooden dining table clinging to him. A warm drop fell on her temple. She looked up. Logan was smiling, his eyes wet. Sorry, he laughed softly, brushing it away with the back of his hand. Must be Lego dust in my eye. Maya nodded. Instead of wiping it for him, she laid her hand on his cheek. Happiness dust. They didn't kiss. They didn't need to. Some nights, one word, Dad, filled the room so completely that everything else was extra. Outside, the city hummed on. Inside, the stove embers glowed. The sink was dry. The Lego keychain swayed. And three people, no longer standing outside each other's hearts, had stepped in, set down their old luggage, turned on the light, and called each other by the right names. Thank you for being part of Soul Stories. If you're listening on another channel, come back to the official home so you can continue our love journeys together with the Soul Stories family. 1 year later, the small backyard of their new home brimmed with golden afternoon sunlight. Rows of lavender bloomed purple and fragrant, the breeze carrying sweetness through the air. Strings of fairy lights hung between branches, waiting to glow at dusk. White chairs lined the lawn neatly, tied with pale blue ribbons. Behind the wooden door leading to the garden, Maya's heart pounded like a drum. She wore a simple silk gown that hugged her graceful figure. Not the grand dress of high society weddings, but in its simplicity, she shone all the brighter. Across the garden, Logan waited under an arch of white flowers, tuxedo perfectly fitted, his eyes never leaving the aisle. He was no longer the cold CEO from the papers. Today, he was simply a man, anxious for the woman he loved to walk toward him. "Ready, Mom?" Ben whispered, dressed in a tiny suit that made him look like a little gentleman. He held the wooden ring box with the gravity of someone shouldering the world's responsibility. Maya smiled, kneeling to fix his crooked tie. "My best man looks very handsome already." Ben took a deep breath, nodding. "I won't drop the rings." "Promise." The piano music began. The door opened. Maya walked forward, each step light yet firm. Ben walked beside her, lips pressed to hide a grin as he clutched the ring box. Logan held his breath as she approached. Guests rose to their feet, but in his eyes the world narrowed to just her. When her hand slid into his, warm and sure, Logan knew all the negotiations, the billion-dollar contracts of his life. None compared to this moment. Their vows were simple but true. "I promise to stay, even when leaving would be easier. Logan, I promise to show you that home isn't a place, but a person." "Maya." When Ben carefully presented the rings, his little hands trembling, the entire crowd chuckled warmly. Logan bent down and whispered, "Thanks, best man." Ben winked. "Don't lose them, Dad." Laughter rippled through the garden. Applause followed, and their kiss beneath the flower arch sealed a new beginning. The small reception ended as the sun set, guests departing and leaving behind the scent of flowers and the chorus of night insects. Logan scooped Maya into his arms and carried her over the threshold of their new home, a cozy house with a wooden porch and a swing. Ben dashed inside ahead of them, flipping the switch and shouting, "Welcome home, Mom and Dad." The living room was simple but warm. A beige sofa, oak bookshelves, the Lego play corner untouched. They all sank onto the couch, shoes still on. Ben immediately launched into his routine. Two pieces of bread were talking. One said, "Careful, the oven's hot." The other screamed, "Ah!" A talking piece of bread. Maya doubled over laughing. Logan's eyes watered from laughing so hard. The sound of joy filled the new house, as if even the brick walls joined in. "You're officially the family MC now," Logan said, ruffling his son's hair. "MC and best man," Ben corrected proudly. Maya leaned her head on Logan's shoulder, eyes shimmering. "You know, there's one more piece of news." Logan looked down, frowning slightly. "What news?" She took his hand and placed it on her stomach. "I'm pregnant, Logan." Ben's going to be a big brother. Time seemed to stop. Logan's mouth fell open. Then a smile spread so wide it brought tears to his eyes. He turned to Ben. "Did you hear that? You're going to have a sibling." Ben jumped up. "Yeah! I'll teach the baby to build the best Legos ever." Logan pulled them both into his arms, holding tight. His heart beat fast, but not with emptiness, only with love. He kissed Maya's hair, thinking, "This is the greatest deal of my life. Not the company, not the stocks, but family. A transaction with no clauses, only trust and love."